All right, guys, so we have a ton of principles. We got the general strength principles. We got exercise variables. We got all these different things that we're thinking about as we're starting to develop this program. We've got the goals. We've assessed the athlete. We have the competition date, okay? So from the competition date, I typically like to work backwards. And on this timeline that we've kind of drawn up here, we've got 12 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 weeks, and this is just for example's sake. But here's some general things that I think about when I'm starting to write that program out. When you're far away from the competition, the exercises can be more general. Remember, we talked about general versus specific type exercises. So in this block, I'm going to be working on maybe general conditioning and or general strength. So if we're talking about general conditioning, maybe I'm building that aerobic base for that athlete. I might have them doing road work where they're just running low intensity, longer durations. I might have them dragging chains or doing, rope work, just to develop some general aerobic and anaerobic foundation to work from. And that's going to be more general than specific, okay? The intensity when you're pretty far out is going to be lower, okay? That doesn't mean that everything's easy, right? It might just mean that maybe some more of the work is, less intense, right? You might not be trying to max out. You might not be, even with skill training, this stuff can go for skill training as well. But the majority of the work that you're doing each week is a little bit more general, just trying to get some overall strength and conditioning. The intensity is going to be a little bit lower, and the volume can be higher because the intensity is lower, okay? Meaning you might be able to do drilling, so you're trying to develop more, you expand your skill set, so the bulk of your MMA training or your skill training can be a lower intensity like drilling work, and you might do a lot of it, okay? And that's okay because the intensity is lower. Now, as camp goes, or as you get closer to competition, the exercises or the work that you're doing might become more specific. So guys like Joel Jamieson have recommended, for his athletes, from 4 weeks to competition, almost all of the strength and conditioning they do is sport specific. Meaning the weight room's kind of hands off, almost all of the stuff that they do is skill specific, which is the way that they run their program, okay? But the strength work or the conditioning work that you're doing might be more specific depending on the goal that you guys have set or the needs or the game plan that you've set up for that person for that competition, okay? The intensity is probably going to ramp up a little bit, okay? You're getting closer to competition. You need to be doing more sport, the speed that you need for the sport. Obviously, you need to be ramping up for that, so the intensity goes up. You're probably sparring or going live a little bit more than you were maybe back here when you're just developing a skill set or general strength and conditioning. So as we're moving closer, it becomes more specific, the intensity goes up. But very, very important is that the volume of the work, because the intensity is so high, that volume needs to come down. Now, obviously, you need to take into consideration what that athlete needs for competition. So if it's a 5-minute, 5-round fight, they need to be able to perform and repeat those explosive efforts for 25 minutes. In my opinion, probably 30 to 40 minutes, just because of the, warm-up and all the things that go in before these fights and stuff like that. A lot of people can get adrenaline dumps and, they're working a lot longer than 25 minutes. But it just needs to be appropriate for that athlete, for their competition. Okay, so they might not need to be, wrestling live for 90 minutes at this point, right? Because their match is only 12 minutes long or whatever it is, right? So it just needs to be appropriate. So again, these are just one more thing to think about, a little bit more concepts that are going to help us organize that workout program as they're leading into competition, and taking a few factors into consideration and how to lay it out so that we're, again, helping that athlete peak, not just be tired.